Welcome to the next part of Maths Chapter 7, Ratio and Proportion. In this video, we are going to start with the part proportion. Okay, so let's understand first what proportion means. Proportion. Four non-zero quantities A, B, C and D are said to be in proportion or are proportional. Four quantities are proportional or are said to be in proportion is if the ratio of first and second quantity is equal to the ratio of third and fourth quantity. That is, if A is to B is equal to C is to D. And this is often expressed as A is to B is in proportion with, you see these two dots over here, two pairs of dots, that means is proportion with, is in proportion with. A is to B is in proportion with C is to D, and it is read as A is to B as C is to D. Okay, now there are some properties of proportion. In A is to B is equal to C is to D, A, B, C and D are called the terms of proportion. Like, in the ratio also we had terms. The first term was known as antecedent and the second term consequent, right? In the proportion also there are terms where it is very simple. The names are very simple. A is the first term, B is the second term, C is the third term and D is the fourth term. The first and the fourth terms, that is A and D, are called extremes or end terms, whereas B and C are called means, middle terms. A and D are called extremes, B and C are called means. Also, A is to B is equal to C is to D means A upon B is equal to C upon D, which in turn means A into D is equal to B into C. That means product of extremes is equal to product of means. You might have heard this formula. This is a very, very common formula for proportion, very useful also. We can find any unknown or missing value with the help of this formula in the case of proportion. In A is to B is equal to C is to D, the fourth term is called fourth proportional. In quantities A is to B is equal to C is to D, C is to D, A and B must be of the same kind with the same units, whereas C and D may separately be of the same kind with the same units. For example, the ratio of 5 kg is to 15 kg can be in proportion with the ratio of 75 rupees and 225 rupees, right? So first and second quantities and third and fourth quantities both separately can be of different units. Continued proportion. Three non-zero quantities of the same kind and in the same unit are said to be in continued proportion if the ratio of the first to the second quantity is the same as the ratio of the second to the third quantity. The ratio of first to the second quantity is equal to the ratio of second to the third quantity. In general, the non-zero quantities A, B, C, D, E, etc., all of the same kind and in the same unit are in continued proportion. Okay, so we have A by B is equal to B by C is equal to C by D is equal to D by E, so on. Okay, so if we have non-zero quantities, you can say n quantities, but if they are all of the same kind and in the same unit, then they will be in continued proportion or they can be written in continued proportion. So if A, B and C are in continued proportion, we can say that A is to B is equal to B is to C. The second quantity B is called mean proportional between A and C, where the third quantity is known as third proportional to A and B. Remember, so in some examples you saw the term fourth proportional. Over here you saw fourth proportional. Who is the fourth proportional? Fourth proportional in A is to B is equal to C is to D is the D. But when we are talking about continued proportion and we have three quantities, B is the mean proportional and C is the third proportional. Okay, so now there are some basic questions on the properties of proportion which we have studied till now. There are some around 23 questions, I think. Yeah, 23 questions. So let's do these 23 questions and then just one part of the chapter will be remaining, which I think we will do in the next part of the video where the chapter will be over. So let's go to the solved examples. Okay. Great. Let's begin. First question. Question number 12, number 1. The fourth proportional to 3, 6 and 4.5. We have to find that. So let the fourth proportional be x. Let the fourth proportional be x. So 3 is to 6 is to 4.5 is to x. 3 is to 6 is to 4.5 is to x. Okay, this is the case. Actually, there should be as, that is in proportion with. So we can say that product of extremes is equal to product of means. Correct? So x is equal to 6 into 4.5 upon 3. So 3 2s are 6 and 4.5 2s are 9. Right? So fourth proportional will be 9. Easy. Second question. The mean proportional between 6.25 and 0.16. Let the mean proportional be x. Right? So we get 6.25 is to x is to 0.16, and we know that 6.25 multiplied by 0.16 is equal to x square. Therefore, x is equal to under root of 6.25 multiplied by 0.16. The square root of 6.25 is 2.5. The square root of 0.16 is 0.4. So 2.5 multiplied by 4 will be 1. 2.5 4s are 2.5 0.4s. I'm sorry. This will be 0.1. 0.1. Why the answer is why is the answer 1? It should be 0.1. Let me check. Yes, actually it is 1, not 0.1. Because 25 4s is 100 and 2 decimal place, so it will be 1. Correct. My mistake. I'm sorry for that. Let's go ahead. The third question. The third proportional to 1.2 and 1.8. So 1.2 is to 1.8 is to x is equal to 1.2 into x is equal to 1.8 the whole square. So 1.2. Okay, let me take 1.2 to the other side. So x is equal to 1.8 multiplied by 1.8 multiplied by 1.2. 6 0.2s are 6 0.3s are, and this will become 9s are. So x is equal to 2.7. So the third proportional is 2.7. Correct? Easy. So these are very pretty simple questions. Let's go ahead quickly. Quantities A, 2, 10 and b are in continued proportion. A, 2, 10 and b are in continued proportion. Find the values of a and b. Now remember, they are telling that these values are in continued proportion. Okay, so don't get confused. See, we can write it as a by 2 is equal to 2 by 10 is equal to 10 by b, since they are in continued proportion, right? So comparing the first two ratios, a is equal to 2 into 2 by 10, 2 into 2 by 10. So 2 5s are 2 by 5 is 0.4. And comparing the last two, we get b is equal to 10 by 10. 10 multiplied by 10 divided by 2. So b is equal to 50. Simple. So continued proportion, you need to write continued proportion of four quantities. You need to write the ratio properly and then solve it easily. Next question. What number should be subtracted from each of the number 23, 30, 57 and 78 so that the remainders are in proportion? Okay. Let me just first make it a little small. Let x be subtracted from, let x be subtracted from 23, 30, 57 and 78. Therefore 23 minus x ratio 30 minus x is in proportion with 57 minus x ratio 57 minus x ratio 78 minus x. So 23 minus x upon 30 minus x is equal to 57 minus x upon 78 minus x. So 23 minus x multiplied by 78 minus x is equal to 57 minus x multiplied by 30 minus x. So we chose x to be subtracted from each of the number and the remainders are in proportion. Remainders means the difference, basically the number which remains. Now here we have to open the bracket and express this as a quadratic equation and then simplify. So this is going to take a little longer, so hold on. See, first I'm going to multiply 23 by 78, which is 1794. Okay, then 23 multiplied by minus x minus 23x minus 78x plus x square is equal to 57 multiplied by 30 will be 1710 minus 57x minus 30x plus x square. X square gets cancelled from both the side. Okay. Now see, do one simple thing. 1794, keep it over here, minus 1710, bring it to the left side, and then 23 and 78, if you add them you get 101, but it will be negative 101, minus 101, bring it to the other side, so it will become 101x positive minus 57 minus 30. 50 minus 57 minus 30 will be minus 87x. Okay, so on the left hand side 1794 minus 1710 will be 84 is equal to, on the right hand side, 101 minus 87 will be 14x. Therefore 84 divided by 14, which is x, and therefore x is equal to 6. Okay, so it looked little complicated because big calculations, but it was simple. Okay, so proportion is comparatively simple up to here. Let's see what kind of questions we are getting ahead. What number should be added to each of the number 13, 17 and 22 so that the resulting numbers are in continued proportion? Let x be added to 13, 17 and 22 to bring them in continued proportion. Let x be added to 13, 17 and 22 to bring them in continued proportion. So we get 13 plus x is to 17 plus x is to 22 plus x. Okay, so you might be aware of the relation of the terms when they are in continued proportion. Product of the mean is equal to product of extreme. Now in mean or in between there is just one term, so we'll take square of that term is equal to 13 plus x bracket 22 plus x. Okay, now 17 plus x the whole square. Now 17 square is 289 plus 2 into 17 into x is 34x plus x square. Okay, now 13 will be multiplied by 22. You get 286 plus 13x plus 22x plus x square. X square will right away cut. Hey, 13 multiplied by 22 is 286, not 280. 28x, 286. Okay, so here you will get 289 minus 286 is equal to 13 plus 22. It will be 35. So 35x minus 34x. Therefore, x is equal to 3. That means 3 must be added to each of the numbers so that the resulting numbers are in continued proportion. Okay, I hope you're noting down all the questions. Let's go to the next question. Now the interesting questions begin. So please pay attention, okay? If a square plus c square, comma, ab plus cd and b square plus d square are in continued proportion, prove that a, b and c, a, b, c and d are in proportion. Okay, so they say that a square plus c square, comma, ab plus cd, comma, b square plus d square are in continued proportion. Are in continued proportion. So therefore we can say that AB plus CD the whole square is equal to, that is square of the mean is equal to product of extreme, that is a square plus c square multiplied by b square plus d square. Okay, so here you will get a square b square plus 2 abcd plus c square d square is equal to a square multiplied by b square is a square b square A square multiplied by d square is plus a square d square. C square multiplied by b square is c square b square plus c square d square. Great. So a square b square and c square d square will cut from both the sides, and you can bring ABCD to the other side. So you get a square d square minus 2ABCD plus c square b square. And if you look closely, this is an identity of a square minus 2ab plus b square. So we can write it as AD minus BC the whole square. Now if you take square root of both the side, you get 0 is equal to AD minus BC, or you can get AD is equal to BC, right? If you get AD is equal to BC, you can say that A by B is equal to C by D. That is A is to B is in proportion with C is to D. Correct? So we proved that A, B, C and D are in proportion. This was question number 16. I hope you understood this. This was more of an algebra and quite simple steps, not very complicated. Okay, but yeah, interesting. Nonetheless, very much interesting. Let's do question number 17. Question number 17 says, if P is to Q is in proportion with Q is to R, you have to prove that P is to R is equal to P square is to Q square, and it can be done. See, they have given us P is to Q is in proportion with Q is to R. So we can say that P by Q is equal to Q by R, or we can say that PR is equal to Q square. PR is equal to Q square. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I have to prove this, right? So I will take RHS first. RHS is P square is to Q square, and in RHS I'm going to write it like this: P square by Q square, but in place of Q square I'm going to write PR. So P square by PR. This P and this square of P square will cut and we'll get P is to R. We'll get P is to R, which is nothing but LHS. So we proved that RHS is equal to LHS easily. Correct? So if you use the properties of proportion, all the questions become easy. There are more techniques and methods which we are going to discuss ahead. Let's go. Okay. If A is not equal to B and A is to B is the duplicate ratio of A plus C and B plus C. Okay. Do you know what is a duplicate ratio? If A is to B is a ratio, its duplicate ratio will be A square is to B square. Okay, remember. So A is to B is the duplicate ratio of A plus C and B plus C. Given A plus C the whole square is to B plus C the whole square gives A is to B. And to prove C is the mean proportional between A and B. C is the mean proportional between A and B means A is to C is to B. Or we can say that C square is equal to AB. We have to prove this. Let's see. Okay. Now let us write it in a fraction form. So A plus C the whole square upon b plus c the whole square is equal to a by b. Now let us uh, what we can do. A is to b is the duplicate ratio of a plus c and b plus c. Let's open the bracket and see what happens. A square plus 2ac plus c square, and b square plus 2bc plus c square is equal to a by b. Okay, what else now? Shall we cross multiply and simplify? Because I don't see any other way. So b bracket a square plus 2ac plus c square is equal to a bracket b square plus 2bc plus c square. So a square b plus 2abc plus bc square is equal to ab square plus 2abc plus ac square. So a square b minus ab square is equal to so b got multiplied over here, a got multiplied with this, and here we get bc square is ac square minus bc square. Great. So what is common out of a square b and ab square? I think ab is common and a minus b will be left here. Here c square is common and a minus b will be left inside. A minus b gets cut and we get c square is equal to ab. That's what we wanted to prove, remember? And that proves that C is the mean proportional between A and B. So yeah, you go on doing cross multiplication and simplification wherever possible and you will get the answer. You need to have that faith, okay? And confidence, of course. Things are getting more serious now. See what you have. Okay, so what do we have here in question number 19? Remember, we have to do around 23 questions, 23 or 24, right? And then we are done with this part. Soon, very soon, we are just 4 to 5 questions away. If A plus C is equal to MB and 1 by B plus 1 by D is equal to M by C, prove that A, B, C, D are in proportion. Okay, so they have given that A plus C is equal to MB and 1 by B plus 1 by D is equal to M by C. You have to prove that A, B, C, D are in continuous proportion. To prove A is to B is in proportion with C is to D, which means AD is equal to BC basically. This looks easy to me. I think what I'm going to do is, see, I have been given A plus C is equal to MB, right? So I'm going to write it as A plus C by B is equal to M. So I got the value of M. I'm going to put the value of M in the second equation. So the second equation will become 1 by B plus 1 by D is equal to, in the place of M, I'm going to write A plus C by B the whole upon C. Right? In the place of M, I put A plus C by B. Okay, so this will become B plus D by BD, B plus D by BD is equal to A plus C by BC. From both the side, I'm interested to cut this B and now cross multiply. So C bracket B plus D is equal to D bracket A plus C. So BC plus DC is equal to AD plus CD, and it is going to yield, let's say, let's see what we can get from this. Can we cut something? Yes, I can cut CD and DC from both the sides. So what do I get? BC is equal to AD. And BC is equal to AD means A is to B is in proportion with C is to D. Done? So proved. So it was simple, quite simple. Little bit of algebra and then you get going. Correct? Let's put it away for a moment. Great. I hope you're noting down everything. Things are going to get messy. 20th question onwards, I'm telling you since many questions, but yeah, things have just got a little bit interesting. They've not got messy. They will. Okay. See, if Q is the mean proportional between P and R, that means P is to Q is to R, and that means that Q square is equal to PR. Prove that P square minus Q square plus R square is equal to Q raised to 4 bracket 1 by P square minus 1 by Q square plus 1 by R square. Correct? Okay, how we will prove this? See, there is one way of proving it is choosing a side which is more complicated, and I feel RHS, the expression in which we have to prove something, in that expression RHS is quite complicated. So let's start with RHS itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply this Q raised to 4 inside. Should I do that? No. In the place of Q square, Q raised to 4, I'm going to write Q square the whole square bracket 1 by P square minus 1 by Q square plus 1 by R square. Okay, so this will become PR the whole square bracket 1 by P square minus 1 by Q square plus 1 by R square. Let's simplify this. So this will become P square R square. Let's multiply it inside by P square minus P square R square by Q square. Okay, and plus P square R square by R square. So P square will cut over here. Okay, here we have got P square R square, which is nothing but PR the whole square with it, which is nothing but Q square, right? Mm. Hey, wait. Q square was PR, Q square the whole square. So this is PR the whole square, that is P square R square. Okay. Yes, so this is R square minus, see, P square R square is Q raised to 4 upon Q square plus here R square will cut and we'll get P square. So R square minus Q square plus P square, and we our LHS is P square minus Q square plus R square. It's the same thing. So RHS becomes equal to LHS. Easy. So what we did is we saw what was given to us, which was P is to Q is to R, or Q square is equal to PR, and we saw what had to be proved, and from the expression which had to be proved, we chose the complicated one. We substituted the value of Q square, simplified it, and got the answer. Let's go ahead. Okay, now this is a big deal. After this we have yeah, 3 more questions, so just hold on. Okay, we are almost done. Okay, So what do we have here? If A by B is equal to C by D, prove that each given ratio A by B and C by D is equal to 3A minus 5C upon 3B minus 5D. Okay, so here I'm going to use a new method and I call it the K method. You might have learned it in school, but if you have not, then this is going to be interesting. Okay, so K method. What is K method? So let A by B, and K method is like, you can use it anywhere, specifically in these kind of questions where you have to prove something. K method is very useful. Let A by B is equal to C by D is equal to K, which means A is equal to BK and C is equal to DK, right? Since A by B is K, so B goes and multiplies with K, so we get A is equal to BK and C is equal to DK similarly. So we got the values of A and C. Now see what is the first thing which we have to prove? 3A minus 5C upon 3B minus 5D. We have to prove that this ratio is equal to A by B is equal to C by D. Okay, that means this ratio is nothing but K. We'll do that. In the place of A, I will put BK. So 3BK minus, in the place of C, I will put DK, minus 5DK upon 3B minus 5D. K will come out common. 3B minus 5D, the whole upon 3B minus 5D. Okay, so we get K. Now, what is K? K is A by B, which is equal to C by D. So we proved that 3A minus 5C upon 3B minus 5D is equal to K. That's what we wanted to prove. Okay, so hence proved. Second one, root of 2A square plus 9C square upon 2B square plus 9D square. Now don't be afraid of the root. Just use K method. Substitute in the place of A BK and in the place of C DK. So what do you get? Under root of, in the place of A BK. So you will get 2 B square K square plus 9 D square K square upon 2B square plus 9D square. Okay, now what you will get? See, K square will be out common. You get 2B square plus 9D square, the whole upon 2B square plus 9D square. It will get cut. We get under root of K square, which is nothing but K. Again, we proved the question, which was very complicated, was nothing but K. K means A by B and C by D. Remember that. So each ratio is equal to K. That's what we have to prove. Now I want you to try the third one. And I'm not going to solve it for you. Why? Because it's a solved example. So I want you to try it on your own. Don't copy anything from anywhere, not even from the textbook. Okay, I'm not going to tell you, but you need to try. Yeah, if you're not getting it, if you're getting wrong answer, if you're not getting K, then definitely I will help you. Not me. You can take help from the textbook a little bit. Okay, that way I can give you some permission. But I want you to pause this video right now and try the third one of question number 21. Okay, I hope that you're done now. So if you've got the correct answer, that is if you've got K, very nice. That means you understood the K method. Now again we have to apply K method to one more question. Okay, and here I'm going to do the difficult one for you. That is the second one. First one you can try yourself. Okay, so question number 22, second one. So what they have given, A, B, C and D are in continued proportion and we have to prove this. So we know that we have to take it as let A by B is equal to C by D is equal to K. That is A is equal to BK and C is equal to DK. Cool. Okay, what next? We have to first take LHS. We will prove both the sides. Okay, we'll first take LHS. It is 5A square plus 12C square upon 5B square plus 12D square, which is equal to 5B square K square. See, in the place of A, I'm putting BK, but I don't have A, I have A square. So it will be B square K square plus 12D square K square, the whole upon 5B square plus 12D square. So we get 5B square, sorry, we get something common. K square comes common out of the numerator. We get 5B square plus 12D square inside the bracket and we get 5B square plus 12D square here. It gets cut. We get K square as LHS. Okay, now let's see what is RHS. RHS is a bit complicated expression. It is 3a raised to 4 minus 7c raised to 4 the whole upon 3b raised to 4 minus 7d raised to 4. Okay, so this will be in the place of a, I'm going to put bk. So 3 b4 k4 minus 7 d4 k4, right? Now you might have got the pattern already. 3b4 minus 7d4. Just take out k raised to 4 common in the numerator. So you'll be left with 3b4 minus 7d4, d raised to 4 actually, the whole upon 3b raised to 4 minus 7d raised to 4, bracket close, cut, and under root of k raised to 4 is nothing but k square. Correct? So LHS and RHS both are equal to k square. So we have proved that they are equal. Now this is the second one which I tried. I want you to pause the video and try the first one. Okay, write the second one, solve the second one with me. If you have not wrote it yet, please pause the video, write it down and then solve the first one of question number 22. Okay, I think you're done. If you're getting LHS is equal to RHS, that means you have understood K method properly. Let's go to the last question of this part. Are you all happy that only we have covered most of the question and we are left with only one single part of this chapter, and then we'll be done with the whole chapter, ratio and proportion. Do you feel happy? Yes. So after this ratio and proportion, we'll be doing physics, chapter 5 and 6. So 6 chapters of physics will be done. Then we'll be doing chemistry, the mole concept. Then we'll be doing maths again. Okay, so up to 15th October, I have to finish lot of syllabus, because 15th October onwards, a huge test series is going to start. These dates are only valid for 2020 batch, so don't worry about if you're from future, please don't worry. Okay, your dates will be definitely different. Okay, let's start with the last question. What is it? I get a little excited about how I plan things, so I talk in between. 6 is the mean proportion between two numbers x and y. So that is x is to 6 is to y, which means 6 square is equal to xy, which means xy is equal to 36. And 48 is the third proportional to xy. That means x is to y is to 48, which means y square is equal to 48x. Okay, find the numbers. Okay, pretty simple. See, I know that xy is equal to 36. So in the place of x here, I can put the value of x. X will be 36 by y, right? So y square is equal to 48 multiplied by 36 by y. Y will go that side. So y cube is equal to 48 multiplied by 36. So y is equal to cube root of, let's express it as a cube root. 12 fours are 12 threes are. Hey, so I've got 12 here, and 4 threes is also 12. So 12 cube root, 12 cube root of 12 cube is 12. Y is 12. Okay, we've just got y. What is x? Now, if y is 12, what into 12 is 36? Of course, x. And therefore, x is equal to 3. Oh, this was quite simple. Okay, so that was all. Now we are ready to start with the last part. And these are some properties of proportions, which we are going to study in detail before we begin the last part. Okay, I'll see you in the next part. Bye bye.